Previously on my channel I was reviewing the Viltrox 40mm full-frame lens f2.5, which is actually filming me right now, and today we're having a look at the APS-C 56mm f1.7 lens, which is an equivalent of an 85mm lens, and it's super compact and really affordable. So let's have a look. What's good guys, my name is Oleg Nikitin and you're watching No Limits On channel. So this 56mm f1.7 lens is from the Viltrox lineup of super compact and affordable lenses. They have a 40mm f2.5 lens, the 56mm f1.7 version for crop sensor cameras, and also a full-frame 20mm f2.8 lenses. They have almost exactly the same size and weight, and they are very affordable with a low price. And today I'm really curious to compare this crop sensor camera, Sony FX30, with this Viltrox 56mm f1.8 with my Sony ZV-E1 full-frame camera and the 85mm f1.8 lens from Yongnuo, which is pretty beefy compared to this one, and we'll take a look at the bokeh quality, the background separation, and etc. in a few seconds. But first guys, let's take a look at the kit of this lens. So we have the lens itself, it's made out of plastic, but pretty durable plastic, no complaints whatsoever. We have a plastic lens hood, a pretty tiny one, plastic front cap and back cap, and on the back of the lens we have the USB Type-C for firmware updates, and Viltrox does provide you with firmware updates pretty regularly, and also in the kit you'll get this pouch for carrying your lens, which is a nice touch. In terms of optical performance, here we have a very slight pincushion distortion and a pretty heavy vignette at f1.7. It gets much better by f2.5, and you completely get rid of the vignette by f4. In terms of the sharpness, we have very good sharpness at f1.8, better at f2.5, and pretty cool at f4, razor sharp. And in terms of the corner sharpness, we have very nice sharpness straight wide open, and by f2.5 and especially f4 we get perfect results. In terms of the minimum focus and distance, it's an average performance, a bit better than average, let me say, and you have to step down to f2.5 for the best close focus and performance. And here is an example shot at the minimum focus and distance, so you can get pretty close to some trees, leaves, people, and whatsoever. Right now guys, you are looking at the 85mm f1.8 lens by Yongnuo on my full-frame camera Sony ZV-E1 compared to the Viltrox 56mm f1.7, which is an equivalent of about 85mm f2.5 in terms of the background separation and focal length. But the Viltrox is like 2 times smaller, almost 2 times more cheap, and also really compact. So how do you like the footage from both cameras? How do you like the background separation, the bokeh? And right here guys, we have more of a portrait shot between those two lenses, and you can tell the difference in the background separation even more. In terms of the flares guys, we do have a pretty dramatic loss of contrast, but it's an okay for this size of the lens, and if you place your light source at a certain angle from the side, you'll get even worse light streak. It's nothing too crazy. I do recommend using the lens hood, but all in all, just be careful with your light sources and you'll be more than fine with this lens. And in terms of chromatic aberrations, I basically don't see any of those wide open, and by f2.8 you can completely get rid of any chromatic aberrations that could appear at f1.7. In terms of the autofocus, as you can tell guys, I have the maximum speed and sensitivity settings on my camera. And as you can tell, it's almost flawless, no matter if I leave the shot rapidly or I appear in the shot. When I go back and forth, it's always tracking my eye, is pretty good, considering that the FX30 is now not the latest and greatest camera of Sony lineup in terms of the autofocus. All 85mm lenses or equivalent 85mm lenses struggle with focus breathing pretty dramatically, and this lens is no exception. So for videographers, I would consider not changing focus from infinity to the minimum focus and distance rapidly. But all in all guys, as you can tell, we have a pretty punchy image with enough of background separation. And lastly, let's have a look at the bokeh. The bokeh balls do have pretty strong onion shape or cat's-eye shape towards the corners of the image, but other than that, the bokeh quality is great. No outer membraning, no chromatic aberration, nothing. Now we're comparing it to the Yongnuo lens. The Yongnuo is 7-bladed and the Viltrox is 9-bladed aperture, and as you can tell, when we stop down we do retain the circular shape of the bokeh balls on the Viltrox much better. And right here guys, you can see how those cat's eye shaped bokehs towards the corners do appear, but I do like this swirly bokeh effect on most of the lenses, so this is not an issue for me. And finally, let's have a look at the chroma smearing. It does exist. By f3.5 it disappears, and when you continue to stop down, you can tell that we have pretty pronounced and very nicely looking sun stars, especially at f11 and at f16. So guys, to conclude, this lens is a pretty good 85mm equivalent, and considering that it's 2 times cheaper, smaller and less weighty than this 85mm full frame, this is a pretty nice step up from your kit lens or like Sigma 18-50. This will allow you to get pretty nice portraits both in photos and videos. It's great for talking headshots when you have an interview with 2 cameras. For the close-up shot, it's a very nice option. And optically, it's pretty good as well. So if you have any further questions about this lens, please let me know down in the comment section below. And also let me know what do you think of those types of lenses from Viltrox all around. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Hit the like and subscribe buttons if you did enjoy this video. And right here I have a review of my Viltrox 40mm f2.5 lens for full frame cameras. You can watch it next. Thank you, take care, bye.